Thanks so much for being with us on Atlanta News First Plus. I'm Joy Lim Nakrin. I just want to show you this live look here. This is a live look at the scene on Emory University's campus. And we know that there's a police presence there because there are some protests happening right now related to the tension in Gaza. Obviously, there's the war between Israel and Hamas happening, and the United States government has provided aid to Israel. Massive protests that we've been seeing around the country on college campuses related to this issue. And again, you can see a heavy police presence here on the campus of Emory University, but it's something that we're going to continue to follow here on Atlanta News First and Atlanta News First Plus. We'll bring you any breaking developments that may come out of that protest. And as we're looking live here, you can see law enforcement officers walking around the campus. At the moment, does appear to be peaceful, but we'll keep following this and bring you all the latest. Okay, let's now kind of shift gears a little bit. Brooks Baptiste joining me now. This is for our segment called In Case You Missed It. And Brooks, this is a time when we want to make sure that people didn't miss, some of the stories. Maybe they could be more fun stories that we're talking about.
Yeah, so this first one, I don't know if I would classify it as fun.
Okay.
But we will have a fun one. But we want to talk about something that's been definitely sparking a lot of conversation here in the city of Atlanta. We're talking about this new proposal regarding drivers for taxis. Now, it's posing the question this morning: when is the last time you've used a taxi? Obviously, since we've had the rideshare companies like Uber and Lyft that have gotten into the game, we understand that a lot of people tend to roll with those. But drivers are saying that the proposal by the city of Atlanta could turn the taxi industry upside down. So right now, let me fill you in. There was a committee meeting yesterday, that council members had to ask people to leave because that's how many people were there in the room. And you can see when that video comes back around, just giving you an idea of how many people were actually in this room here. And it's meant to compete with ride shares like Uber and Lyft. That's according to officials, but taxi drivers say they don't see it this way. And we're talking about the change that it's going to require the color of a taxi, the removing of the overhead light, and also to remove a meter in favor of a digital system. Now, city officials say the meeting was another forum for open discussion. The measure is going to be held in committee until an agreement is made between both parties. So it really brings us to the question this morning, Joy. When is the last time you've used a taxi, or are you more of an Uber or Lyft gal?
So I use Uber personally. I've used Lyft too, but I have not used taxis for a long time, to be perfectly honest. Maybe, I want to say maybe 2 years ago, coming from an airport, that type of thing. How about you?
I mean, you're still better than me. I think I probably haven't used a taxi since the last time I was in New York, because that's the only place that I feel like you see them and you
That's
recognize and identify them so easily. And what was that? Maybe back in 2009?
Yeah.
Might have been the time that I took one. So it's been quite some time. But again, you know what? You do understand that these are taxi drivers. They have needs, and they're hopefully trying to get those needs met. So we'll have to wait and see what city officials do with this new proposal, and if that's truly going to impact them in that industry.
Yeah.
Also, we've got to talk about the cicadas. Can you hear them?
Please.
Yes, you can. Probably. They have arrived to the southeast, and we spoke with an expert from the University of Georgia who says more than 1 trillion periodical cicadas are expected to show up in 12 to 14 states this spring. They're known as these cicadas that have been eating tree roots underground for the past 13 years. So they've been at it for quite some time, and then they come on up and they annoy us. But people in South Carolina are already seeing and hearing them, and scientists agree that the cicadas do not pose any risk to you. So they say, don't worry about them. They even say, Joy, that you can eat them if you choose to.
Okay,
I'd rather not.
That's where I'm like, yes, I'm vegan.
We draw the line. Yeah, and you know what?
I'm a vegan.
I think I'm going vegan today as well. Now that I think about it. But the periodical cicadas are different because they are red and black instead of the green ones that maybe you're used to seeing. Bottom line is you will continue to hear them. So don't be surprised, and don't think it's the end of the world or anything like that. This just happens ever so often. Every, a little over a decade, they come in large numbers, and then it's not long before they die off. So.
And I know you have some sound that you want to share. Let's play that.
They sound like a like a buzzing and like a clicking noise.
Like during the day, it just sounds like a high-pitched humming, but at night, it sounds like a jungle.
They're cool. They're fun little bugs. They're nice. They're harmless. Completely harmless. They're cute. I mean, come on.
Well, that kid thinks they're cute, so that's good. Somebody
You
likes
know
the
what?
cicadas.
And that kid might be one of three that probably feels that way. I don't know. I'm going to have to give that a hard pass. But again, you will hear them out there, and don't say you have not been warned.
Well, the kid said they're cute, didn't say they're delicious.
Cute, delicious. I can't go with either of those terms. Just saying, Joy.
Me either. You know, and I try to have compassion for every living being, but I
You
don't.
do.
But I don't want them living with me.
And again, nothing wrong with them. They can live, you know. I mean, they can take over every other state. Just, you know, try not to do too much here.
I'll
if
bring
you
them over
would.
to your house.
Please do not, my friend.
Thank you so much,
Thanks,
Brooke
Joy.
Baptiste. All right, so speaking of housing, let's talk about some legislation now. Now, completely different situation with housing, though. But this legislation that we're talking about is actually to protect renters, and you know, obviously, some landlords are a little bit concerned with what this legislation would mean for them. But it's a newly signed law, and the intention really is to level the power balance between tenants and landlords. Atlanta News First political reporter Doug Reardon has more on HB 404.
Felicia Morris, better known by her nickname, Miss Peaches, shows us around her new apartment. It's not ideal. It's a little far from the city.
I have doctor's appointments. Sometimes I be late or sometimes I have to reschedule.
But it's still a far cry from this, the now condemned units of Forest Cove in Atlanta where Miss Peaches used to live. This week, Governor Brian Kemp signed House Bill 404. Right there at the top, it guarantees rental units in Georgia must be, quote, fit for human habitation. That wasn't in Georgia law before. Simple language that could have saved Miss Peaches.
It's unfair. To me, it's unfair.
From all this trouble. But her story and her advocacy for other Forest Cove residents is making a change.
Without, Forest Cove and many other participants, this 404 doesn't exist right now.
Allison Johnson is with the Housing Justice League in Atlanta.
I think this bill also aims to put some perspective on accountability. What should happen when you don't show up?
Under the new protections the new law offers, tenants can refer to existing Georgia health codes to define what habitable means. If their unit doesn't fit the definition, they can now make complaints to code enforcement and even have more power when taking lazy landlords to court.
We're the only state in the country without a warranty of habitability. Most states adopted this over 50 years ago.
Elizabeth Apley is a housing lobbyist in Georgia. Along with Allison, she helped get the bill passed. They saved renters a lot of trouble and saved you a lot of taxpayer money.
Every eviction in Georgia costs over $11,000 in the cost of emergency shelter, emergency room visits, medical hospitalizations.
Ms. Peaches is hoping the new law isn't all just talk.
By talking, it ain't doing me no good. Just show me.
Doug Reardon with that report. Thank you so much for that. Okay, let's talk about an issue that is popping up across Georgia, and it's really on the rise. It's a startling trend in the metro of magic mushrooms. So right now, police say that they're working to get mushrooms containing hallucinogenics off of the streets, but some Georgia researchers say the drug could actually have some benefits. Atlanta News First reporter Tori Cooper went to the South Fulton Police Department, and she's been working on this story for weeks.
We have definitely seen a huge uptick in the last couple of months.
Atlanta News First followed the seeds of information.
Just this year, and we're only in the fourth month, we've already had about 12 cases.
Illegal magic mushrooms are a growing trend. Police departments all over the metro are seizing large amounts of magic mushrooms containing the hallucinogenic psilocybin. Major Romero leads the Clayton County Police Department's narcotics unit.
It seems to kind of be a drug of choice of the youth.
Captain Adrian Massey with the South Fulton Police is seeing the same growth.
What we're starting to see is not just the regular mushroom that you would see as far as the drugs. You're starting to see edibles, candy bars, anything that pretty much can be consumed as far as hidden as well. Street value 3.5 grams is going for $40.
Possessing magic mushrooms containing psilocybin in Georgia is a felony, with prison time ranging from 1 to 15 years. It's a Scheduled 1 narcotic, meaning in the eyes of the law, it has no medical benefits, it's highly addictive, and dangerous. But UGA Pharmacy Associate Professor Joshua Caballero has a broader view.
There seems to be a beneficial effect that it can improve symptoms of depression.
Caballero analyzed 6 studies showing the effects of psilocybin in more than 500 adults. When taken in small doses of 10 to 25 milligrams in a controlled environment with a therapist, symptoms of depression decreased. But his bottom line, more research needs to be done. Some had side effects like nausea, anxiety, and elevated blood pressure. And Caballero says younger people may be at risk for suicidal thoughts.
Even though it may be rare. So we're still studying that.
All right, and thanks to Tori Cooper for that report. You can find more on all of these stories on atlantanewsfirst.com. Also encourage you to download our free First Alert app to get updates sent right to your phone. Want to give you just one more live look here at the Emory University campus. And as I told you before, we have been following protests happening there. This is related to the Israel and Gaza war, Israel and Hamas war, I should say. Gaza, of course, the most impacted region in this. But these protests, of course, have been going on across the nation. And now here at Emory University, and as you can see, there is a police presence. We're going to keep following all the latest developments, bringing you any new information on Atlanta News First, atlantanewsfirst.com, and of course our free mobile news app. Thanks for being with us. Have a great day.